Welcome back. Now I'd like to talk to you about tablets. A few years ago, the idea of us trading in our laptops for one of these touchscreen wonders would have been positively inconceivable. But since the launch of the iPad in 2010, tablet computing has become very much in vogue. Tablet web browsing, communications, movie viewing and gaming now isn't just possible, it's really rather trendy. Of course, for the last year or so, the iPad has had it pretty much all its own way. But now, Apple's competitors are on the march. And there are a heck of a lot of them. Samsung, Asus, Dell, it seems practically everyone on Earth is bringing out a new tablet this year. Of course, a lot of these new tablets are rather ropey, but some of them are actually good enough to be potential iPad killers. So, are any of them good enough actually to win the fight? Sounds like a cue for some hands-on testing. To help me tackle the tablets, I'd enlisted the help of a man who knows a thing or two about keeping his finger on the pulse. Sky News anchorman Martin Stanford. We were going to test the tablets by using them to make a news report about the evolution of, well, tablets.
Hello, Martin.
John, welcome. Welcome to Sky News.
I'd chosen what I thought were the two closest rivals to Apple's iPad 2, Motorola Xoom and BlackBerry's Playbook. How would they compare as we use them to file our report?
Let's have a go at this.
For many, tablets are predominantly about web surfing, and that's precisely what Martin did first, starting with the Motorola Xoom. Weighing in at 730 grams, the Xoom comes with Android's new Honeycomb operating system, which has been designed specifically to compete with the iPad.
It certainly feels quite a good browsing experience here.
No problem with the video either. It loaded quickly and looked detailed on the 10.1-inch screen.
So that seemed to be going pretty well there with the,
Not bad.
With the Zoom.
Not bad at all.
Let's try the iPad.
The original iPad set the standard for tablets, but the competitors have been hot on its heels. With a 9.7-inch screen and weighing only 600 grams, will the iPad 2 continue to impress as its predecessor did?
Obviously, you'd have a problem with the video.
It's been well documented that the iPad won't play flash video, but Martin seemed to think there was cause for optimism.
Website providers are now having to realise they're having to produce videos in 1, 2 or even 3 formats.
Yes, or an HTML5 video, or have their own app for it, which gets you around the flash
maybe there
problem.
will be a workaround.
So there might be hope. Video aside, though, the iPad offered an intuitive and impressive web browsing experience.
Let's have a look at the third one, the newest, actually, the Playbook.
Our final tablet was the BlackBerry Playbook, the lightest of the three, weighing only 425 grams and running BlackBerry's own operating system.
First impression, very good screen.
Very colourful,
bright.
very bright, very sharp.
You control the Playbook's operating system with the help of swipe gestures from outside the screen. It's an interesting idea, but Martin didn't feel it was enough to beat the iPad.
It's the size thing. It does seem very much less useful to have it quite so small. Right, let's just see about video. Here's one of your reports, and we press play. There we are, and it is playing. That's a good picture.
So, no clear winner after the first test. But next, I was going to use the tablets to film Martin at work, starting with the Xoom.
Action.
Steve, the tablet computer, is it here to stay?
It comes with a useful inbuilt movie light.
It's quite a good picture, you know.
Next, the iPad with its 720p camera.
Reproduction not as good as you maybe expect with it. It's quite noisy, isn't it?
It is. And finally, the Playbook, which shoots in full 1080p HD. We were slightly disappointed with the results, though it wasn't all bad.
Very good camera work, John, I think.
Oh, you do think so?
That's some of the best I've ever worked with.
So, the Xoom sneaked this round. But for our next test, Martin used all three tablets to write his script. He found both the Xoom and the iPad easy to type on. Both came with the advantage of auto-correction, a feature missing from the Playbook, which was also hampered by its smaller screen.
A smaller screen, therefore a smaller keyboard, and whether it's fat fingers or not, I find it just slightly more cramped.
Meanwhile, I tried out gaming apps on all three.
Oh.
Playing games is a great test of the tablet's touchscreens and accelerometers. All three are good, but I think the iPad still has the edge for its sensitivity, fluidity and responsiveness.
So, in terms of differences in typing, are there any differences between the three?
I think I'd have to go with the Apple, merely because the keyboard's the biggest, but I just found that easiest to be the most correct.
So, after thorough testing, we'd concluded our report.
And finally, the G ratings.
And it's 3 Gs for the BlackBerry Playbook. Its size will either attract you or put you off, and while the operating system's impressive, it still needs some work. And it's 3 Gs for the Xoom. Its large screen means it's a little heavy, but the latest version of Android is well suited to tablets with huge potential. But with 4 Gs, the iPad 2 is still top of the tablet tree. The overall usability, screen and keyboard are very impressive, and you still can't ignore the fact that there are far more apps available for the iPad than the other 2 platforms. But Apple be warned, the others are catching up.
I have an iPad 2, and I have to say, though, I'm very happy that other manufacturers, other brands are snapping at the heels of Apple. I'm more impressed with this than I thought I would be, the Playbook.
So I think it's interesting. I would love someone to come along and kick Apple's booty, all right? I really would. Nothing would give me more pleasure. I'm not wedded to this product in the way that I am, and I absolutely love it because of any loyalty to them or anything like that. I'm completely objective about it. I'm just left speechless at how rubbish the contenders on the market are. Honestly, these are rusty old bicycles. That is a finely tuned sports car.
I think the hardware is actually quite similar. I think what makes the iPad different, aside from the irritations, obviously it's quite hard to get stuff on and off it on the negative side. On the positive side, what makes it different is that people are writing apps for iPads. At the moment, they're still not really writing them for this. Yeah. So if you want to experience what tablet computing's all about, really, at the moment, you still have to have an iPad. Although I'm sure the others will catch up.